Aloha, welcome to the Mr.G podcast. Today is episode 28. We're going to be talking about the last game of the NBA 2023 NBA season with the Denver Nuggets winning the NBA championship. I'm going to tell you four stories, four different concerts that I went to as a teenager, two different Ozzfest concerts. One of them I got kicked out of, the other one I snuck into, and then two different concerts that I saw on my 18th birthday and on my 19th birthday. Uh, Broadcasting to you from the outskirts of Chinatown. It is a sizzling 79 degrees here at 9 in the morning in Honolulu, Hawaii, the biggest city in the Pacific, my city, the city I'm from. It's Tuesday, June 13th. I took yesterday off. I've done this podcast for 4 weeks now. The first 27 days, I did not take a day off. Yesterday, I took a day off. So today is episode 28. Like I said, the Denver Nuggets won the championship last night. They're probably the most exciting NBA champions ever. Not. However, you got to give credit. Joker, Jokic, I still can't even say his name. Everybody can't. Yeah, they just call him Joker. Joker as a great all-time great. Watching him play as unlike any other NBA player. And what's going to be remembered is how when the game ended, instead of celebrating, instead of banging his chest, he took the really good sportsmanship route of shaking all of his opposing team members of the Miami Heat's hands and congratulating them. He's a team player. He gave his team credit the whole time. And Denver Nuggets have won their first NBA championship after 48 years of trying, almost half a century of trying, and they won a championship. All right. With that being said, give them credit. Jokic is a great player. He's unlike any other player where like he doesn't even dunk the ball. He's 7 foot tall, but it's like he can't run fast and he can't jump high, which are normally two skills very adaptable in basketball. Instead, he just catches the ball very high and he has great hands and great footwork. He can dribble really well. He has a great three-point accuracy. But as far as his inside game, he catches the ball very high and puts it in the basket before the defender can react. And that's new. In 30, 40 years of watching basketball, I've never seen somebody that he's been working with Murray before they were even in the NBA because Murray is from Canada. Shout out to the point guard Murray, who played a great game. He's an all-star. And then also their role players are also borderline all-stars with Aaron Gordon, a high first-round draft pick, and Michael Porter Jr., also a very high first-round draft pick. Both of those guys, when they were drafted, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, you were wondering, are these guys going to be superstars? Are they going to be all-stars? They're great players. In basketball and the NBA, you can tell generally how if a player is going to be good or not. A lot of things go into play, but if you look at previous drafts, generally the top picks are the top players. So we're not going to talk hoops very much on the upcoming podcast. This week we're going to do coming up on tomorrow's episode. We're going to do the 5 richest people in the world, and then we're going to do the 5 richest people in Hawaii. We're also going to talk about celebrities that live in Hawaii or call Hawaii their part-time home. That's what we're going to be doing the rest of the week. We're not even going to be talking about hoops very much until the NBA draft, which is in a few weeks too, where the San Antonio Spurs with the #1 pick are expected to draft Victor Wembanyama, aka Wemby. So we'll talk about that a little bit. I'll go over the 4 different concerts I mentioned because on the previous episode 27, I talked about concerts that I went to, and it went really well. The best thing about this podcast is I can do it every day. I barely need to plan what I'm going to talk about, especially if I'm just telling stories. I don't have a script. I'm just that fucking good. All right. So here we go. I don't even need to brush my fucking teeth. No. All right. Especially if you're listening, which reminds me, listen to the Mr.G podcast at work, while you're cleaning the house, while you're working on the car, while you're riding on the bus, because the Mr.G podcast is just like any other podcast. You can get it at your motherfucking podcast spot, whether that be Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio podcast, all of the podcasts. So pull up Mr.G Hawaii podcast, Gregory Brandt, and take a listen to the next episode. Doing this every day. Like I said, I started 4 weeks ago. I didn't take a day off for the first 27 days. I took a day off yesterday, but here we are, day 28 again, and I'm well rehearsed. I'm well relaxed. I'm well rested. I'm not really any of those things, but I have some great coffee, some Starbucks coffee in front of me with whipped cream on top, caramel on the sides, and that's all I need, baby. That's all I need. Yesterday's podcast, or excuse me, on the last episode 27, I told you about a few different memorable concerts I went to. Today I'll tell you about 2 Ozzfest concerts, and then 2 concerts on my 18th birthday and on my 19th birthday. I'll start with the concert on the 18th birthday. It was actually the eve of my 18th birthday. My birthday and my twin brother's birthday is on September 24th. This was a concert at a small venue in my neighborhood in Northeast San Antonio, like actually in the neighborhood, like where we hung out, so we could walk there. They rarely had concerts there, and they rarely had a band this big at this place. I believe it was called Sneakers, and the OffSpring, for some reason, had a concert there. And this was after they had all their, this was in the late 90s. This was for our 18th birthday. So this was like 1997. I believe, when I turned 18, 1997. And it was the eve of me and my twin brother's 18th birthday. So me, my twin brother, Jonathan Lewis, Benny, and a couple other people, we went and saw the Offspring. And it was pretty cool. It wasn't like the other concerts that we've been to, like Pantera, White Zombie, Metallica, because it was more like a hipster crowd, and there wasn't like really moshing or anything, but we were right in front of the stage, and it was a really cool concert. And it being right there in my neighborhood and right on the eve of our birthday. So after the concert, it ended like at 11:30, and my twin brother Michael, we were about to turn 18, and he really wanted to buy a lottery ticket because he didn't smoke, and he didn't and he wanted to take advantage of being 18. So he went directly to the store, waited till midnight, and tried to buy a lottery ticket, but they wouldn't sell it to him. And he came back like pissed off that I couldn't get a lottery ticket, and he waited a few hours, then went back to another store, and then came back with like a bunch of scratch off lottery tickets and lotto things and stuff. But the concert was good. The next day I went and got a tattoo on my 18th birthday, which normally you would be able to see right easily, and it's right here. It's a leprechaun. So those of you that are watching on YouTube or Twitter, it's not a radish, it's not a pirate, it's a leprechaun. I got it on my 18th birthday, so as you can imagine, it's a little faded. I'm actually going to get it covered up, so this is probably the last you'll see of this leprechaun. I'm going to cover it up with a bright brand new Hawaii flag, and it's going to look awesome. But on this 18th birthday, we saw Offspring. We walked home from the concert. Like I said, it was right in the neighborhood. We used to hang out at El Sendero and Parent Vital, and the Sneakers place was off of Parent Vital where the concert was. They used to have concerts there, but at this point in the late 90s, they would never have concerts there. So I guess the band Offspring must have been friends with the owner or something. They decided to have a concert right there. And it was sold out, and it was exciting. The very next year, on our 19th birthday, me and my twin brother, and we were hanging out with Jonathan Lewis again, and I had gotten tickets. I had won tickets to Blues Traveler, which is a good band that I appreciate now more than back then on my 19th birthday. And for some reason, our sister had lent us her Mustang that our father bought her. She probably like felt guilty, like me and my brother, we were like treated like shit and made to sleep in a garage, and they were treated like his like wives and stuff. And on their 16th birthday, one of them was given a brand new Mustang, and the other one was given a brand new Jeep. On me and my twin brother's 16th birthday, we were given mattresses to sleep on, and it was kind of like a joke because we didn't even have mattresses before that. But on our 19th birthday, for whatever reason, our sister lent us the Mustang. And so me and my brother are taking turns driving it. Then I remember we get to the concert, and they're both like kind of dark goth, not goth, but just like people that wouldn't like Blues Traveler. And we get to the concert, it's a general admission concert, and then we walk into the crowd area, and Blues Traveler is playing, and they're playing some of the songs that I like and stuff, but they're not moshing songs, and they're not like "Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na." And that's kind of like what they were into. And I remember getting there, and I remember that right seeing this couple dancing, and they were dancing to like one of Blues Traveler songs, and like the guy did a little turn and she did a little turn under his arm and everything. And then Jonathan and Mike were like, oh, this is dumb. Let's get out of here. And then so we left, and we didn't even take advantage of having the tickets or going to the concert. And now I really like Blues Traveler, and they have a couple songs that I really enjoy. And the woman I'm dating now, she also likes Blues Traveler. So you think how things change. That was on my 19th birthday. That was almost 20 years ago. That was over 20 years ago. And now if I had tickets to Blues Traveler and my current girlfriend, we would really enjoy it a lot more, and probably would be the people that got up and dancing that my teenage self was like mocking, like, oh, that's lame, and that I would be that guy, like, yeah, run around, but yeah, so it shows how things change, people change, and even though the music is the same, you might not be the same person that you were when you originally heard it. So that was my 18th birthday, the Offspring, my 19th birthday, Blues Traveler. The two different Ozzfests I went to. The first one was at like the Alamo Dome. It was like shortly after the Alamo Dome opened. It was one of the first Ozzfests. And me and Jonathan Lewis, I had gotten tickets from the radio station, and we had like seats, so it was okay. And we went and we saw the first band, which was Power Man 5000, and they were known for like having Rob Zombie's little brother as the lead singer. And so we sat and watched them, but we were in the seats, and it's kind of like, oh, there's not like standing around moshing with people and stuff. And right before we had gone there, we had stopped at Planet K, which is a notorious pipe store, bong shop in San Antonio, the conservative ass San Antonio. So Planet K has like always been like where rebels go. And so we stopped at Planet K, and we got like some new pipes, and he got like a mini bong. And we had like a little bit of a bag of weed. And then so the Alamo Dome was like inside, so we're like, oh well, we shouldn't smoke in here. So we went outside and we just leaned against the wall, and it was a concert, and it was the Ozzfest. And we had smelt weed at other spots around the venue. And so we're just like, fuck it, it's just weed. So the second we loaded a bowl and started smoking it, a cop rides up on a bike, and he's just a prick, and he immediately just takes our stash, takes our pipes, and kicks us out of the concert, no questions asked, nothing. And I think I don't remember if I had gotten the tickets from a radio station or somebody actually had bought them, but I remember feeling very upset and like gypped. Like these tickets were $50 each or something like that. And in 1998. And so we're like, damn, look, we got to see one band, and I think Marilyn Manson was playing, and a few other bands that we never ended up getting to see because we got kicked out. So fast forward a few years later, and Ozfest is here again, except it's at an outdoor venue at Retama Park. And this time I don't have tickets, but I'm hanging out with like these actual metal guitarists, and I was hanging out with them for like a few weeks, like spending the night at their house, playing cards with them, drinking with them, and they were total goth Black Sabbath lovers, right? And me and the guitarist, and none of us had tickets, but me and the guitarist were like, fuck it, let's just go, we'll just sneak in. It was right down the street in Retama Park in Selma. And so me and like the main guitarist, who was the main part of their band, went there, and we're like standing out the venue, and most of the acts had already happened, but he was a huge Black Sabbath fan, and I was like leading the way because I was a few years older, I guess. And I'd known the area well because I had been to the racetrack a lot. And so I showed him like a little area that we could sneak in, and we like got under the fence and started sneaking in. And I lifted the fence up, and then he crawled under, then I crawled under. And then as we were walking in, the security saw us, and then so we just bolted into the crowd. And then by that time, Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath had just gone on stage. And so we were right there, and we just kept on moving forward until we couldn't move forward anymore. So we were just totally safe with hundreds of people all around us. And then he gave me a look. He's like, all right. He's like, thank you, G. Thank you. And I even surprised myself that day. I'm like, wow, I'm a pretty much a badass. Because before we left, we were in the neighborhood, which was just a few miles away, my mom's neighborhood where they lived. And I was telling all of them, I'm like, we're gonna go there. If you put your mind to something, you can do it. And I'm like, we're gonna go see Black Sabbath. Are you with me? And then the guitarist was actually the only one that was like, I'm with you, Greg. I'm gonna go. I think we'll go get in. I was like, all right, you know. And then we went there and we ended up sneaking in. And I'm not condoning sneaking into concerts because now I see videos on YouTube of people sneaking into concerts. I'm like, get off, that's wrong. Get off my yard. You should pay for your tickets. And they're just running in. How could you do such a thing? But then 20 years ago, I'm the one that's like, hey, let's just run in. So those are 4 different concerts that I've been to. On the previous episode, I went through on episode 27. I told you about a few more concerts. I'll tell you about one more concert, and it's sincere to my heart, and it was Alanis Morissette. Just because I love Alanis Morissette, no, it's because the people that I was there with, some of them are no longer alive, and also my girlfriend at the time. I should have been a little bit. I treated her more maturely at the end, but me and Benny's girlfriend Stephanie and my girlfriend Shanessa, we went and saw Alanis Morissette in Austin when we were all living in San Antonio, and for the Jagged Little Pill tour when Alanis Morissette was like the shit. We were driven there by Benny's dad, and Benny's dad had Benny when he was in his late 60s. Benny's dad was born in 1917. His name was Benny Woodrow Mcghee, and he got the middle name Woodrow because Woodrow Wilson was president when he was alive. So that's how old he was. He was born in like 1917 during the Woodrow Wilson administration. And then he had his son Benny, who also was named Benny Woodrow Mcghee, and he got the name Woodrow from the same reason. And so his dad gives us, it's a double date, I guess, Benny and his girlfriend and me and my girlfriend. And then we give a ride to Austin from San Antonio to Retama Park. And I remember the opening act was pretty good, and we were all smoking weed and and chill and stuff. And I forgot who the opening act was. It was somebody, but I remember we really enjoyed just chilling in the back and just smoking weed and hanging out with each other. Then Alanis Morissette came up, and me and Shanessa got like closer to the stage. But then my girlfriend Shanessa, she was 14 and I was 16, so a huge age difference. But it is at that time, it felt like such an age difference. Like she was way too young for me, and but she was 14, I was 16, and I don't know if she had drank something or, for whatever reason, we were close to the stage and she was just under my arms. And all of a sudden she started getting sick and started like throwing up and stuff. And then I was just like, oh shit. And I was like, helped her away from the stage. Then I set down a towel and then we got her some air. And then she was feeling better and everything. And then at the end of the concert, Benny's dad got us all. He just hung around like in the parking lot or whatever. His dad was like in his 80s at that time. And he picked us all up. Then he took us to a Denny's and he bought us all Denny's food. And I was so hungry and so grateful for that. And so was Shanessa because neither of us had money. And it was really good, but I was staying at Jonathan's at the time. I had like a garage apartment, and when we went back, I had Benny's dad drop Shanessa off at my garage apartment, and then I went and hung out with Benny like a dumbass. Like I'm gonna hang out with Benny instead of my girlfriend, and then my girlfriend walked in the middle of the night through a bad neighborhood from my garage apartment to Benny's house, and she was just like, "Why did you, just leave me or just ditch me?" And then I felt really bad. Then I walked her back to my garage apartment and we stayed there for a little while. But I really regretted, like, what was I thinking? Like, why did I leave her alone? And I had no idea the world was as dangerous as it is. I wasn't aware of that. And looking back, it is kind of significant because Benny is no longer alive. He passed in his late 20s a few years ago due to an accidental. The same thing that millions of young people in America have passed in the recent years, and and that's mislabeled drugs and fentanyl. And I don't know the exact details or circumstances, but he's one of millions of American young people in this country that have died like that. And his dad has passed too. His dad was born like in 1917. So even if his dad was alive, he'd be like 106 or something. But of course, his dad is gone. And Shanessa always had issues of her own. She came from a horrible family and stuff. And I hope that she's around, but you can't guarantee it. And I've tried to look her up online a few times, and I was unsuccessful. I think maybe she was a mechanic or something. But and then Benny's girlfriend Stephanie, that's the most likely person that's like has a family and is normal and doing okay. But I hope all of them are good, and I'll always remember that night, that trip to see Alanis Morrisette from San Antonio to Austin and hanging out with them. It was a really great time. And but looking back, it's like, well, what happens if I'm the only one left? If everybody else has passed, like, did it even happen? Like, is that memory the only memory of that is me being alive, thinking about it and talking about it on this podcast? But I mean, it happened, and if I don't mention it or if I don't tell anybody, then I just die with that beautiful day and hanging out on the beautiful date, that double date. And it's just it's tragic in a way that uh everything there's a great quote in the famous sci-fi movie, but it's our memories are just like dream are just like our tears that just vanish. And Billy Bob Thornton wrote a great autobiography, and in his autobiography, he talks about the moment he found out his brother died, because he had a brother that he was very close to, and from what Billy Bob Thornton says, his brother was very funny and very smart and very kind, and everybody liked his brother, and his brother was just an awesome dude. Everyone wanted to be around him. And he says the second that he found out that he died, a part of Billy Bob Thornton died, and he said that he'll never be truly happy after hearing that news, because his brother was just that good of a person. And he says that I don't want to be truly happy because it wouldn't be fair to him. And I actually have a twin brother, a fraternal twin brother, but my fraternal twin brother isn't the greatest guy I've ever known. And when I think about that quote, I actually think about my friend Benny. And Benny is no longer with us, but uh, Benny was like the best dude that anybody could ever be around, and everybody wanted to be around Benny. Benny would make everybody feel like that they're the most important person in the world. And a lot of good qualities that I have come directly from hanging out with Benny. So, and when you're that young, you don't necessarily appreciate somebody like that. And you think maybe they're a dime a dozen, or there's a million Bennies out there, but there isn't a million Bennies out there. And Benny was really one in a million, and he really liked me a lot, and I was one of his favorite people. And knowing that is really like helped build my character and helped build my confidence. Um, Knowing that somebody like him actually, you know, held me at such high regard. So rest in peace, Benny. I miss you, brother.